The story of Queen Elizabeth I begins like that of any e-girl: daddy issues. Elizabeth's father, Henry VIII, executed her mother when Elizabeth was only 2 years old. As a child, she was raised without a father, of course, and had some unfortunate interactions with a certain Thomas Seymour. After some time with her siblings on the throne and the threat of imminent death for some time, Elizabeth, aged 25, arose to the position of the most simped-for woman in the world, the Queen of England. Originally, Elizabeth faced some suspicion from her subjects, who did not trust a woman to lead, for they are followers of Andrew Tatington IV, Duke of Bugatti. However, to defend herself from the accusations of being an incompetent woman, she surrounded herself with a privy council of the finest simps in England. Chief was Robert Dudley, Twitch moderator, who, like every Twitch moderator, was believed to be in a romantic relationship with Elizabeth. Alongside was Walsingham, who stopped like 500 attempts on the Queen's life to just be ignored. Anyhow, the Queen was expected to marry and have children. Unfortunately, somewhere along the line, Elizabeth had watched anime show Serial Experiments Lane, thus rendering her unable to have children and instead only be able to mope about being a femcel online. Like all so-called femcels, however, she would search for her perfect e-boy all the same. Of course, Elizabeth was rather ugly, and had to have all her portraits changed to catfish as many terminally royal men as possible. Many e-boys from across Europe responded. One of Europe's most well-known power mods, King Philip of Spain, reached out offering his hand in marriage, but was rejected as he was a bad husband to Elizabeth's sister. Philip responded by sending the Queen a portrait of Patrick Bateman with some edgy text about being a lonely based Sigma male. Dudley of the Simp Council was the number one choice, as mentioned earlier. However, this became untenable when his wife died in mysterious circumstances. It was an accident, guys. It was an accident. Don't worry. Don't worry. What are you trying to? Don't worry. It was an accident. She fell down the stairs. Don't stop. She also rejected King Eric of Sweden, which turned out to be a good idea, as he would later go insane in what is known as a literally me moment, and Archduke Charles of Austria, and Robert Devereux, Earl of Essex, who would eventually try to overthrow Elizabeth and was later executed. Later in her life, the Queen was likely to marry the Duke of Anjou, a hunchback, surely leading the other suitors still alive to be rather angry, wondering why e-girls always go after weird guys. But that relationship went down the drain after the St. Bartholomew's Day massacre. The Queen, of course, had her e-ops. Due to her religious policies, which I'm not going to talk about to its true extent as it has no funny internet equivalent, but safe to say she had many haters, and after Pope Star of Catholic Alert called out Elizabeth to his millions of followers, his subscribers turned to Elizabeth's sister Mary as the true Queen of England, leading to many attempts on Elizabeth's life and worse e-clout. After numerous plots were foiled by Cecil, getting not so much as a shout-out on Twitter, Mary had to be executed. Mary was apparently surprised her sister would order such a thing, despite being executed for ordering Elizabeth's death, having gotten away with like 10 other plots. When Mary was executed, her head was held up, and the executioner held the head by the hair, which turned out to be a wig, and her head rolled away like a bowling ball. This was the final straw from Philip. He had been rejected. Elizabeth had supported military efforts against him in the Netherlands, and now he had executed the rightful queen. He'd had enough of the e-girls. If Mary couldn't be queen, he would have to be king. He was shutting England down because y'all couldn't behave. So in 1588 he sent out the Armada to invade England. Unfortunately, the man sent out to lead Armada was incompetent, and one of Elizabeth's top simps, Sir Francis Drake, who had donated the equivalent of £200 million to Elizabeth, had the genius idea of sending ships on fire into the Spanish fleet, scattering them. England's navy would defeat the Spanish again, and a strong wind would carry the ships all the way around England into Ireland when they were further ravaged by storms, hence ending the Armada and setting up Britain's future as a global superpower. Sorry I couldn't make any funny internet references. Let's just say Elizabeth 360 no-scope Philip on Rust or something. Elizabeth died on the 24th of March 1603, without any children, heirs or husband, just like any e-girl. She was replaced by King James I, who would continue the crusade of Duke Tatington of Bugatti. But Elizabeth was remembered for her status as the Virgin Queen and for her contributions to the future of Britain as a nation. And those are two things no e-girl will ever be remembered for. See you around. I have been Picardia Productions.